The Israelites and Philistines were at war, locked in a fierce struggle for dominance. They stood on opposite sides of a valley, each side brimming with warriors ready to fight. A sea of soldiers stretched as far as the eye could see, their armor glinting under the sun. Tension crackled in the air, thick with the anticipation of battle. The ground seemed to vibrate with the collective heartbeat of thousands of men. The Philistines had a secret weapon, a giant named Goliath, whose very presence struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. Goliath was a terrifying sight, a behemoth of a man clad in heavy armor. Towering over 9 feet tall, he wore thick armor and carried a massive spear, a weapon that seemed almost too large for any man to wield. His voice boomed across the valley, challenging the Israelites to send a champion to fight him. His words were like thunder, reverberating through the ranks of the Israelite army. Day after day he taunted them, his laughter echoing across the battlefield, a cruel reminder of their fear and hesitation. Fear gripped the hearts of the Israelite soldiers, paralyzing them with dread. No one dared to answer Goliath's challenge, their courage faltering in the face of such an overwhelming adversary. Far from the battlefield, in the serene and rolling hills of Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David tended his father's sheep with great care and dedication. David was a brave and resourceful boy, known for his courage and quick thinking. He had faced lions and bears to protect his flock, never hesitating to put himself in danger for their safety. He was also a skilled musician, often playing his harp to soothe his sheep and himself, and a devout believer in God, finding strength and guidance in his faith. When David heard about Goliath's challenge, a giant warrior who terrified the Israelite army, and the fear it instilled in the Israelite army, he was angered and deeply troubled. He believed that God would protect his people and give them the strength to overcome any obstacle. With unwavering faith, he volunteered to fight Goliath himself, despite his youth and inexperience. David's brothers, who were soldiers, laughed at him, mocking his boldness and confidence. How could a mere shepherd boy, small and untrained in the ways of war, hope to defeat a giant like Goliath? But David was undeterred, his faith unshaken. He knew that with God on his side, anything was possible, and he was ready to prove it. David, armed with only his shepherd's sling and a pouch of stones, went to meet King Saul. Saul, desperate for a champion, was initially hesitant. He doubted that this young boy could succeed where seasoned soldiers had failed, but David's unwavering faith and courage convinced the king. Saul offered David his own armor and sword, but the boy refused. He would face Goliath as he was, armed with his faith and his sling. David approached the giant, his steps light and determined. Goliath, seeing the boy approach, roared with laughter. He mocked David, calling him a weakling, an insult to the might of the Philistine army. Section 4. Faith overcomes fear. David stood his ground. He knew that God was with him, and that was all that mattered. He reached into his pouch, selected a smooth stone, and loaded his sling. He faced Goliath, his eyes locked on the giant. David swung his sling, the stone whizzing through the air with incredible speed and force. The stone found its mark, striking Goliath squarely in the forehead. The giant, stunned, staggered back. The Philistine army watched in stunned silence as their champion, their symbol of invincibility, crashed to the ground. The once mighty Goliath lay still, defeated by a shepherd boy with faith and a sling. Section 5. David's triumph. David's victory sent a ripple of fear through the Philistine army. Their champion was defeated, and with him their hope of victory. Their morale shattered, they turned and fled in disarray, unable to comprehend the magnitude of their loss. The Israelites, emboldened by David's courage and newfound hope, pursued their enemies with relentless determination, securing a resounding victory that would be remembered for generations. David, the humble shepherd boy, became a national hero overnight. His bravery and faith was celebrated by all, from the youngest child to the oldest elder. The story of David and Goliath is a timeless tale of courage and faith, a narrative that transcends generations and cultures. It reminds us that true strength comes not from physical size or power, but from the courage to stand up for what is right, even in the face of overwhelming odds. David's unwavering belief in something greater than himself, his faith in a higher power, gave him the strength to overcome the giant. It is a story that continues to inspire people around the world, reminding us of the power of faith and the importance of standing firm in our convictions. The tale of David and Goliath reminds us that even the seemingly impossible can be achieved with faith, determination, and a well-aimed shot. It is a beacon of hope for all who face their own giants.